ignore that because we know we're very professional. We know why I'm here. We know why he's here in terms of managing me. So we always kept it professional. There was never like, you know, when it came to business, it was business, and we acted in our positions in that sense. And then, you know, outside of modeling, when I wasn't on set during a photo shoot, in our own private lives, of course, we have a very good boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't separate those things. And then, yeah, so it's funny. And then some people can, like us. So it's very interesting. And as I said, a lot of people question that at the very start. But then when they saw that we could work very well and that there were basically no issues, then, yeah, people just understood, and then they didn't really say anything. But as I progressed and over the years, I did realize there were a lot other managers that were dating the model, whether that was before or after, I'm not sure. But I did notice that. So it's funny because, you know, I kind of thought it was something that wasn't common, but it turned out, at least from what I saw and heard, it turned out that it was. So, yeah, that's how I met my manager. We knew each other before, and I guess we really understand each other very well. So I think because we do, it helped us have a business relationship because we were always on the same page.
Sure. I guess, you know, it's always good to have someone in your corner, and it sounds like you have that, which is great. So your manager then, I guess let's talk about how you book shoots now. So does your manager reach out to the magazines? So the magazines reach out to your manager? Do you have any kind of influence on where you want to go next, or what magazine or, you know, or movie that you work on next?
Well, in terms of the booking side of things, quite often, especially with the magazines, I should say, it's my manager who's reaching out on behalf of me. And if anyone, whether it's the magazine or it's usually the photographer or some other sort of like individual, if they need to speak to me, then by all means that happens as well. But yeah, usually it's my manager reaching out to magazines and photographers. Often, you know, I personally will receive, like through social media, I'll personally receive like requests, like if someone wants to hire me for something, whether that's a photo shoot or perhaps like a film or whatever. But basically, often it's my manager reaching out on behalf of me to arrange any gigs. And yeah, it's very interesting because the other day, and it was a relatively small gig, but it was still something very, very amazing actually. There's a mini series being produced, locally, and they still had to cast a lot of people last minute, and, I just received a message the other day on Facebook, and they're like, oh yeah, we could use somebody, well known in the area. So yeah, I didn't really, my manager didn't have to reach out, nor did I have to. So a lot of the time things will just sometimes come to me. And it's very interesting because I think that's a result of self-marketing myself, like very well, like just putting myself out there. And when I say that, I don't mean flyers or anything like that, but, just promoting myself well on social media and, because as it is, the more people who are following you, the more you're known. So all of those things really help out. In terms of, sorry, what was the last bit of the question?
I kind of forget now, but I think that's okay. Because I think this leads well actually into my next question, which you just kind of mentioned, which is I wanted to talk about your marketing. So you do have a very robust social media presence, and so do you run your own Instagram, social media accounts, and how do you decide what gets posted and when?
So I run it, and my management run it as well in a sense, but they monitor it. And
Okay.
So I guess it comes down to how important the thing is that I need to post.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as a model, you need to put up your portfolio. And if you're not doing that, then people can't see your work. So then, it's a bit pointless if you're not doing that. So yeah, I put my portfolio up there. I credit the people who were a part of that photo shoot. Mm-hmm. And, I often tag other things like magazines and other media outlets or anyone that may take interest in that post, because I think that's how you're going to target more people. If you're tagging certain things within the post, and this is for Instagram, I should say, then, you're going to reach out to those so those are basically then your targets in a sense. That post is going to reach those sort of users on Instagram. Mm-hmm. As for the hashtags, it's a similar thing. So if you want to reach out certain types of users or genres, then you have to put those hashtags that relate to them in the post as well. So if you do that, it works very well. And Instagram is getting more stricter every day. And when I spoke to an expert the other day about this, they said, well, the terms and conditions of Instagram is very, I guess, simple but strict. And that is that they'll obviously delete fake users, and they will block, permanently delete accounts that don't comply with the rules so basically they'll do that. And if you're buying a lot of followers and doing spam actions, so say you had a clean account and there wasn't any bad content on there, there wasn't any swear words or anything, but you're pretty much spamming people, like you're commenting and liking and doing all these ridiculous things, and then you're buying all these fake followers, and perhaps you're only doing that because you want to be very popular, but that will get you deleted. So it was hard for me to kind of figure out what was the difference between engaging with a lot of people and spamming. So for me, it was very hard as of recent anyway, because as I mentioned, the platform is getting a lot stricter every year. So I was kind of, in a way limiting myself on how many accounts I would follow back all the time, or how many, pictures I would like, because I didn't want to overdo it. And, it was scary to hear that apparently if you don't do all of those things, your account will get blocked. So I didn't want to have that risk there. But I guess it all comes down to how you're doing things. If you're doing things normally, nothing will happen, and you would know about it. But I do know that if you like too many accounts at once or follow too many accounts within a short period of time, that feature will be blocked for 24 hours. So if that happens, my advice would be, don't do any of that for a while, because if you continue to do that, well, then that risk of getting your account deleted is going to increase.
Yeah.
In terms of Facebook, it's kind of similar, but obviously with Facebook, I think sometimes, not always, it can be easier to gain followers.
Okay. So that brings up an interesting point of being, kicked off of or blocked on Instagram, because you technically don't own that platform. Facebook does. Are you changing your marketing a little bit or tweaking it in the future, thinking about how Instagram, being potentially blocked, or if Instagram suddenly changes, their algorithms and suddenly it's less easy for you to be featured? Are there new ways that you're thinking about promoting yourself, or other ways that you're looking at to make sure that you are still visible to your fans and to the people who need to see your photos and are not, just in case Instagram does something with the algorithms?
I guess it's hard to say because I guess it would depend on what they do.
Sure.
But I can imagine, as long as I was complying with the terms and conditions of Facebook and Instagram, that I would still do well. And in saying that, I would still market myself in other places. Like, I recently heard Google Plus is actually very good, although I'm not too sure how accurate that is. Mm-hmm. And having your own website, YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. So there's a number of different places, or even Twitter, where you can just promote yourself. And, I think if you were to spam on any sort of platform, then, yeah, you would have problems. So I think the main thing is to make sure that all the actions that you're taking on your account are, in a way, normal and, not suspicious.
Okay, sure. So tell me about what it was like being on Australia's top glamour model. So I know that's something that you won in 2017, but could you tell me more about the process, what it was like, and then, how it's changed your career after winning?
It definitely changed my career a lot because just having that title there, whether that was in my Instagram bio, whether I would have that in my resume, it just really helped out so much. It was, I'm so grateful for it to this very day. Mm-hmm. And it's just been such a phenomenal experience since that event. In terms of the event itself, they were taking online applications Australia-wide. So I entered that because, funny enough, someone I knew entered that. So I was like, this sounds really cool. So I'll give it a go because I really think, the funny thing was, I was really driven. Obviously I'm still driven now, but back then, I was really driven, and I really, for whatever reason, deep down, I really felt I had the potential to win that. Mm-hmm. So I entered it, and with a positive mindset. And I filled in the online application. I pretty much, in terms of the application, they pretty much needed a bio in a sense. So to my best ability, I was, typing down a really good bio that would help promote me. And anyway, next thing I know, they did get back, and I did receive effectively it was a phone call interview. Mm-hmm. So that went all well, and I proceeded to, I proceeded to the next round. So basically, to proceed in the next round, and this often happens in the glamour model industry, at least in this sense, they needed I needed some sort of sponsor as well. So that sponsor would help provide any additional costs when it came to the whole production side of things. Mm-hmm. Because for each model, there was a behind-the-scenes video, there was a photo shoot, and and where it was set would be some sort of really cool location. So, I was really lucky because at that time, shortly before I entered that, I joined up a glamour model agency in my area, and they were relatively small, but they were, from what I remember, they were very impressed when I had an interview with them, mm-hmm. by my drive and passion for modeling, and they were very impressed with everything and with how I presented myself. So I figured I'd ask them. Mm-hmm. And another agency that I was with at the time, and they both said yes to that. So, with the help of my mom as well, I traveled to, Melbourne? Yeah, Melbourne, to do a photo shoot with limousines, and it was pretty much you could say limousine garage, but it was much more cooler than that. Like they had all these limousines everywhere. So it was really nice. And